The New York Knicks could have waited until Thursday to make this announcement and buried it against Game 1 of the NBA Finals. But no, they were real men. They stood up and they said, you know what? We can't let everyone that talks about sports and watches sports and enjoys sports, we can't let them go down like this. Talking about the same crap for the second consecutive day. We're going to give them breaking news. We're going to give them an oasis in the middle of the content desert. And we've got that today as the Knicks fire Tom Thibodeau. And I love it. And I'm tickled pink. I'm ecstatic. I'm happy that the Knicks fired Tom Thibodeau. Now, this is important to say, and I'm going to repeat what I said yesterday, which I didn't plan to do, but I didn't expect them to fire him today or announce they were keeping him today. So there's nuance here as it concerns Tom Thibodeau, right? We can acknowledge that Thibodeau, along with Jalen Brunson, who's the driving force, who's number one, that Thibodeau, along with Jalen Brunson and Leon Rose and Worldwide Wes, and I think Julius Randle's in that discussion. There's a video making the rounds right now of Julius Randle and his wife. It looks like they're in like Positano or on the Amalfi Coast, like cheersing, presumably to Tom Thibodeau getting fired. That is like making the rounds on an Instagram story from Julius Randle's wife. I don't know if it's true or not, but I did find it at least funny that that's the case in that video. Like the timing of that video getting posted was very funny. And I think Randle deserves a ton of credit, as I said yesterday, but this is not a Julius Randle conversation. It's a Tom Thibodeau conversation. That Tom Thibodeau deserves so much credit for the resuscitation, for the resurrection of the New York Knicks from this dead as a doornail, D-E-D, dead, D-U-N, done, moribund franchise that had become the laughingstock of the NBA, a laughingstock of professional sports, losers for a quarter century, and took the Knicks from irrelevance to the doorstep of the NBA Finals. And for that, Tom Thibodeau deserves all the credit in the world. History will look fondly on Tom Thibodeau's era as New York Knicks head coach. And until we find out what's coming next, Tibbs is up there with Pat Riley. And some may think that that is sacrilege to say. Riley did go to an NBA Finals, also never won a title, and left to go to Miami like a weasel with great hair and expensive Italian suits. But a weasel nonetheless. Like Pat Riley in the same conversation as Riles and in the same conversation as the great Jeff Van Gundy. And I know Van Gundy went to an NBA Finals, got wiped off the face of the earth by the Spurs, so Van Gundy got farther than Thibodeau did, but Van Gundy took over from Riley, and Riley took over a team in the early 90s that was ready to win. That was not what happened here with Tom Thibodeau. So a tremendous job by Tom Thibodeau, taking the Knicks from where they were when he got the job to where they are now, where I said yesterday on the show, and I meant it, that the Knicks could do nothing this offseason. Sit on their hands, do nothing. Hit the pre-roll for the entire summer and just look out at the sunshine and into the trees and make zero moves and do nothing and still potentially win the Eastern Conference next season because of how bad the East is. Thank you in all seriousness to Tom Thibodeau. This is not like when the Giants fired Joe Judge or Dave Gettleman, when as a New York sports fan or you're a sports fan of any team and a coach gets fired and you're doing cartwheels. You're loving it. You can't wait to pour water or piss on that grave. That's not what this is. Knicks fans should be very, very grateful for what Tom Thibodeau was able to do as head coach of the team. But the time had come. The expiration date had been passed. From my accounting, like the message not being received and the team not capable of winning an NBA championship in its current form with Tom Thibodeau as the head coach. You are never going to fire Jalen Brunson. Never going to happen. They're never going to trade Jalen Brunson. And if you're not going to fire or trade Jalen Brunson, and I use the word fire because that's the word we use for coaches, right? You're never going to fire the star player, especially not one as beloved as Jalen Brunson. This was the only move, was to fire the coach. To get the Knicks over the hump. to get the Knicks actually possibly ready to win an NBA championship. Because it was not happening with Tom Thibodeau. Absolutely not. To anybody that watched the offense on this team, loaded with skilled playmakers, loaded with all-star caliber talent, and the offense with players like Brunson and Anunoby and Bridges and Towns, that the offense and Hart, when his head's screwed on straight, that the offense degenerates down into Jalen Brunson iso ball like he's Kobe Bryant. Jalen Brunson iso ball like he's Michael Jordan. He's not. And Tom Thibodeau allowed it to happen. Tom Thibodeau is the coach of the team that allowed it to happen. Everyone wants to, and I think Thibs is a good coach. Everyone wants to praise Tom Thibodeau's defense. Wow, what a great defensive coach. Did anyone watch the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Final? They look like traffic cones against the Indiana Pacers. But everyone wants to throw Karl Anthony Towns under the bus for his defense or lack thereof. Like, how about it's on the coach to coax it out of him, to get it out of him? Because you're not firing Karl Anthony Towns. He's making too much money, and he's too good. And maybe Leon Rose has got something up his sleeve, and Giannis is coming, or Kevin Durant's coming. I don't know. Otherwise, you're not firing Karl Anthony Towns. And you got to get, because there's no reason that the defense of Towns and the defense of this team should be so bad in these big spots against good offenses with guys like Bridges, all defense caliber player, Anunoby, all defense caliber player, Mitchell Robinson, all defense caliber player. There's no reason that the defense should be this bad. And there's no reason that the Knicks, who invested all of this money in Anunoby, assets in Karl Anthony Towns, and 1 million first-round picks in Mikal Bridges, that all of them should be minimized into bystanders. Brunson's great, but while Jalen Brunson dribbles and dribbles and dribbles and dribbles, and maybe he makes it or maybe he doesn't, something's got to change here. Something has got to change. And I applaud Leon Rose. I don't want to applaud Jim Dolan for anything, but I mean, he signed off on this, so I have to applaud Jim Dolan, I guess. I applaud Rose, and I applaud Worldwide Wes for making this call, for pushing the button here and being serious about winning a championship, being serious about getting to the NBA Finals, and being serious about contending with the Titans out in the Western Conference, starting with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Think about the language that was used in the press release. We are singularly focused on winning a championship. There are Knicks fans who are just fans. There are Knicks fans who are members of the media. I can't believe these people. And everyone's welcome to their opinion, correct or otherwise. How could they have done this? How could you do this? How could you fire? We got to the Eastern Conference Final. Look at where we were beforehand. It's a loser's mentality. A loser mentality. To say, well, look what we've done. Look what we've done. Let's just stay status quo. No. No. The Knicks, with this roster and that coach, are never winning an NBA championship. They could get to the finals, but they're never winning. And the Knicks correctly identified that. And they've made a move, and it doesn't mean that the next coach, whoever it is, Jay Wright, Danny Hurley, Johnny Bryant, Michael Malone, whomever, it doesn't mean that it's going to work. But I would rather take my chances with the unknown than rolling into next year with something that we know is not going to work. It's not going to work. Never winning a championship. And I would just compare and contrast, I said this yesterday, what happened in the Eastern Conference Final against Indiana with Rick Carlisle and the performance that you got from the Pacers bench in that series and how deep Indiana's bench is. Now, perhaps your counter to this would be, well, the players on the Knicks bench aren't that good. And that's why Tibbs doesn't play them. My counter to that would be, how would we know? We've never seen them. It's become a punchline that he runs these guys into wherever he goes, and he's an excellent coach. He'll go take Charlotte to the play-in next year. He'll take the Wizards to the play-in next year. He's a good coach, but it is a punchline. It is a running joke. You hire Tom Thibodeau as your coach, he's running all your best players into the ground and grinding their knees and their joints into frickin' dust. The Knicks got lucky this year. Lucky that they made it as far. It's a miracle, right? Seriously, that they made it to Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Final with like the entire team basically intact. What a Christmas miracle that is. Is that going to happen again? With Thibs playing Anunoby, Bridges, Brunson, and Towns and Hart all in the top 20 most minutes in the league? Come on. Really? Are you being serious? Are you caught up in what's already happened and not focused on what's still to come? This was the necessary move by the New York Knicks to get this team over the hump, potentially to the finals, and maybe even win it.